What do you think we'll do? And I just, at that point, I was like, okay, they're not going to help me.
Tonight, a mother from Saskatchewan shares her story about navigating the healthcare system.
We want to make life easier for the people that are out there seeking resources.
An annual event that helps bring services to the unhoused in Winnipeg.
This album has been 3-4 years in the making.
And we catch up with the Snotty Nose Res Kids to talk about their new album out today. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. New Brunswick RCMP have released a new statement regarding the fatal incident in Elsipogtog First Nation. Last Sunday, RCMP shot and killed 34-year-old Stephen Iggy Didum after police responded to a call regarding a man in mental distress with a weapon. His family says he was a father and fisherman in the community, and that RCMP used excessive force instead of trying to help him. Copit Lodge, the First Nations advocacy-based organization who assist RCMP with wellness checks, say they were only called after Didum was shot. In a new statement Thursday from New Brunswick, RCMP Assistant Commissioner Deanna Hill said, quote, on September 8th, the New Brunswick RCMP were dispatched to a 911 call for service involving a suicidal male armed with a weapon at a residence in Elsipogtog. Quote, I want to clarify that the information circulating that this was a wellness check is inaccurate. She goes on to say, at this juncture, I am focused on fully cooperating with the CERT investigation. I am also focused on ensuring public safety in the community of Elsipogtog. APTN News spoke with New Brunswick CERT Director Erin Noss, and she told us that the incident is not necessarily what RCMP would classify as a wellness check. She says CERT continues its investigation to determine all the facts. APTN News also requested a comment from Saskatchewan RCMP regarding the RCMP-involved deaths of Daniel Knife in Atakakoop First Nation and Jack Charles Pichet from Clearwater River Dene Nation. They responded only saying, we are unable to provide further information while Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating separate incidents, and that we want to ensure a fair and transparent investigation. Meanwhile, the Assembly of First Nations National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Neepanak is responding to the 6 Indigenous people who have died in police-involved incidents in just 2 weeks. In a statement to APTN News, the National Chief said the AFN stands with the First Nations families and communities of all those whose lives have been tragically lost in interactions with police. Time and again, we have witnessed the consequences of law enforcement's failure to employ de-escalation techniques and culturally informed practices. These most recent deaths continue to demonstrate the systemic issues nationwide, and we demand police accountability and thorough, independent investigation of each and every incident. Well, we'd like to hear what you have to say about these 6 deaths. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you want to weigh in or share a story with us, you can send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories by heading over to our website. That's aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Well, being in the hospital with a young child is stressful for any parent, but for one Saskatchewan mom, it's everyday life. Video journalist Rachel May spoke with Crimson Standing Ready about the challenges of navigating the hospital system as an Indigenous mother.
He just never seemed sick, never had a fever, he seemed fine, and he's always a very happy baby. Like, doesn't ever fuss or cry.
Now 3 months old, Crimson Standing Ready's son Atlas has spent most of his life in the hospital. He needs a feeding tube because of excess mucus at birth, making breathing and eating difficult. He's since fought blood infections and lung problems. In early July, the family got to go back home to Fort Qu'Appelle. At the end of the month, Crimson noticed her son's breathing sounded off and took him to Regina General Hospital.
Sent us home, and then I remember specifically when I was speaking to the emergency doctor at Regina General, he asked me a question, and he asked me, "What do you think we'll do?" And I just, at that point, I was like, okay, they're not going to help me.
After being sent home, Crimson trusted her instincts. She drove her son 2.5 hours north to the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital in Saskatoon. There, the doctors told her Atlas had pneumonia.
I always think, like, what if we just never came to the Children's Hospital and we actually just listened to the emergency doctor thinking he was fine? Because it just kept saying he has acid reflux, it's acid reflux. And like, okay, well, but why is he coughing? Like, why is he still choking on his feeds when he has a feeding tube in?
The family is still at the Children's Hospital, but Crimson feels they have better support now.
They also have like First Nations health educators. And she actually just came to see me yesterday or 2 days before that, or 2 days before. And she said that I was telling her about what was going on and like what Regina, when they turned us away. And she was like, you know, we have like health educators at Regina as well. And they help you, they're there to help you advocate for your child.
For their part, the Saskatchewan Health Authority, which oversees all hospitals in the province, did not address the contrasting levels of care for Atlas. In an emailed statement to APTN, the SHAs said they, quote, strive to create an inclusive culture grounded in our values of safety, accountability, respect, collaboration, and compassion based on a philosophy of patient and family-centered care. The SHA's primary concern is always patient safety and care by ensuring patient needs are met to the best of our ability. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
A gathering to elect a new president of the Métis National Council has been postponed. The election was set to take place in Saskatoon on September 26th. The postponement comes on the heels of the passing of a resolution by Métis Nation Saskatchewan calling for the Métis Nation of Ontario to be removed from MNC immediately. President Cassidy Caron, the first elected woman to hold the office, announced in May that she would not be seeking re-election. At the time, Caron said she was early in her pregnancy but wanted to make the announcement to ensure an orderly transition at MNC. A spokesperson for MNC confirms the annual General Assembly and election has been postponed and a new date will be determined by the Board of Governors. One of the members of the Board of Governors, Métis Nation Saskatchewan President Glenn McCallum, recently brought forward a resolution to the MNS Provincial Council calling for the immediate removal of the Métis Nation of Ontario over ongoing concerns with the MNO's membership registry. It also calls on the removal of the office of the MNC president and replace it with a chairperson. The resolution passed by the MNS Provincial Council says MNS will resign from the Métis National Council if the resolution isn't passed by the Métis Nation General Assembly. 3 years ago, the Manitoba Métis Federation withdrew from the Métis National Council. Representatives from the Métis National Council and Métis Nation Saskatchewan were unavailable for comment on Friday. To Ottawa now, where Parliament resumes sitting on Monday after a summer break. Quite a bit has changed since MPs left Ottawa for the break last June. Earlier this month, the NDP left the supply and confidence agreement it signed with the Liberals back in 2022. The NDP and Liberal agreement had been scheduled to last until June 2025. This means the three main opposition parties could force the minority Liberal government's hand on a confidence vote and trigger an election. Voters also go to the polls in two key by-elections on Monday. It's a two-way race between the NDP and Conservatives in the Winnipeg riding of Elmwood-Transcona, a seat currently held by the NDP. The Liberals, Bloc Québécois, and NDP are in a three-way race in the Montreal riding of LaSalle-Imard-Verdun. This is the seat of former Liberal Justice Minister David Lametti. The Liberals were elected to a third term in September 2021. A Services Expo was held in Winnipeg today for some of the city's most vulnerable. That story and more after the break. Welcome back. From health cards to haircuts, the Gize-Wetaskiwin Service Expo is bringing dozens of services to Winnipeggers in need, all in one place. Here's reporter Sierra Bettens with that story.
We have people that are supporting us with mental health, housing. Manitoba Public Insurance is here doing photo identification for folks. Mental health supports. We have bike mechanics. We have hot dogs for 1,000 people.
It's the third edition of the Gize-Wetaskiwin Service Expo, organized by End Homelessness Winnipeg. The annual event brings over 70 service providers together under one roof.
We want to make life easier for the people that are out there seeking resources and bringing resources in a centralized place so that they don't have to navigate the streets of Winnipeg or downtown Winnipeg. They can come to one place.
Finding a safe space to stay is just one barrier people experiencing homelessness face. It can be needing an eye exam. On the second floor, optometrists are offering free vision tests and glasses.
We know that vision affects learning, development, job opportunities. You know, it really can be a barrier that can prohibits or sort of inhibits someone from being able to, get to that next level of success.
It can be obtaining ID, getting a fresh cut, or leaving a message to book an appointment. A service Connect to Voicemail provides for free.
What we provide is a phone number with a unique extension for each person that they can use as their phone number. They can give it to their employers, their landlords, their doctors, whoever.
68.2% of people surveyed for End Homelessness Winnipeg's 2022 street census were Indigenous. A stat that jumps to nearly 9 in 10 of those who sleep unsheltered or outdoors. The Dinnawamak, our relative's place, where the expo is hosted, is an Indigenous-led 24/7 shelter. Executive Director Frank Parks says there is a consistent demand for space.
We hit capacity every day of 200 folks. So that's so essentially, we're trying to respond to the needs as we see them. So, and we continue to grow and evolve as our homeless community evolves in the city.
For End Homelessness Winnipeg CEO Jason Whitford, that means meeting the community's diverse needs.
It's connecting to the right resources where they have expertise of working with the population that you might be most comfortable with. Sort of a person that might be identify as two-spirited, that might identify with a resource that specializes in supports for people that have faced barriers in that area.
While the expo runs once a year, the 211 phone line is available 24/7. Managed by United Way Winnipeg, it connects callers to a variety of services across the city.
So you call us and your Kukum needs help finding medical attention or services, you can call 211 and we'll find those resources within the area. Also too, with you see somebody on the street having a hard time, call 211.
With hundreds of smiles and helping hands throughout the grounds, Kajewe Taziwan lives up to its Anishinaabe name, working with love, kindness, and generosity for others. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
What a great event that is. Well, there's also a new space for youth in Winnipeg's inner city that's offering boxing classes modeled after the 7 sacred teachings. It's an extension of the Spirit Horse initiative, which provides programming for at-risk youth. Here again is Sierra Bettens, who takes you on a tour of their new facility.
A vibrant mural representing the 7 sacred teachings welcomes visitors into the Spirit Horse Initiative's new space. In the boxing gym, Henry McKay brings those teachings to life.
Every week we try to go through like a different sacred teaching, and those teachings are kind of like a guideline for people to try and live a good life, a good balanced life, a grounded life. So it's very important to teach those teachings to our youth.
This week, that teaching is honesty, represented by the Sabe.
Boxing is a very hard kind of sport to do sometimes. So knowing your boundaries and kind of your limits is being honest to who you are, and then setting those boundaries. But then also wanting to kind of push them to kind of better yourself.
Matt Davidson founded the Spirit Horse Initiative to help at-risk youth get on a better path. He uses an action therapy model to engage them in activities and connect them to their community. With the help of the city's Building Safer Communities grant and generous donations, the space is now home to a music production studio and a boxing gym.
Every day we plug away at it and try to make it turn into something beautiful. So we have had artists come in here already and youth to record and learn the programs. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
In Winnipeg, youth crime has seen a notable increase over the past few years. According to the Winnipeg Police Service's 2023 statistical report, youth crime rose by 23.1% over 2022 and 14.3% over 5 years. Davidson believes offering youth guidance and programming is essential to reducing those numbers.
They haven't been jaded, once you've been jaded by life, it makes it incredibly difficult to transcend and heal past a lot of those things, to hone in on the youth, to hopefully make sure that they don't have to experience the things that some of us have experienced. That is where my passion and energy needs to be.
Mixing physical activity with teachings, youth in the boxing program learned that movement is medicine.
Mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, and how everything's all connected, right? And so this is where they can work on their kind of physical and emotional self here, and then that just betters everything else.
The Spirit Horse Initiative space is open to all interested youth. As time progresses, McKay says they hope to offer drop-in programming. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
A new Snotty Nose Rez Kids album dropped today. We'll speak with the boys after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And if we had a photo of the year, this would be a contender. Karen Sear captured this incredible photo of some nearby wildfires at Tesla Lake in British Columbia. Hope everyone was safe there. Keep those photos coming by sending them to share@aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 18 in Charlottetown, sun's out, and 22 in Fredericton, 15 in Kuujjuaq, 12 in Nain, 27 in Montreal, a sunny high of 28 in Val-d'Or, 29 and sunny in Sault Ste. Marie, sunny skies, and 27 in North Bay, sun's out, and 25 in Thunder Bay, showers, and 26 in Sioux Lookout. In northern Manitoba, rain, and 23 in God's Lake, 20 with showers in Norway House, 25 in Winnipeg and Brandon, 24 in Dauphin, 23 in Regina, 22 in Saskatoon, showers, and 20 for Meadow Lake and La Ronge. In northern Alberta, 19 with rain and high level, showers, and 18 in Fort Chipewyan. rain and 14 in Edmonton, 19 in Lethbridge. Rain and 18 in Vancouver, 17 with showers in Victoria. 14 and rain in Prince George, rain and 15 in Smithers. 12 with showers in Old Crow, 13 in Whitehorse. 17 in Yellowknife, rain and 15 in Norman Wells. 0 in Sax Harbor, 7 in Pawlatuck. 10 with showers in Chesterfield, 9 and rain in Whale Cove. 0 with snow in Resolute, +4 in Arctic Bay. Now to Vancouver, where our Tina House caught up with the Snotty Nose Res Kids as they have not only dropped a new album, but are about to launch a tour.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here tonight with the one and only Snotty Nose Res Kids. Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty excited.
Awesome, how you doing?
Feeling good, man. Just being present here in the moment.
Amazing.
Yo, it's the calm before the storm.
Exactly.
The calm before the storm. Man, Red Futures, this is what you're here to talk about. Tell me about this album.
Oh man, this album has been 3-4 years in the making. We came up with the idea after Trapline, but we just had to grow a bit more before we did it, you know, and we dropped a couple albums before this, and then now here it is. It's our take on Indigenous futures.
I love it. And you guys are now global superstars. I mean, everybody knows who you are, and they're about to know who you are once you launch this tour here. Tell me more about that.
The tour starts, I think we're kicking it off at the Malcolm Bowl here in Vancouver. This is home for us, the home of the Coast Salish people. And we've been out here for about 10 years. So this will be our biggest show here in Vancouver. And that's on September 21st, and it goes until our last date in Toronto.
In Toronto, it's like December 6th.
December 6th?
December 6th in Toronto at the Opera House.
We'll be on the road like all of fall and cutting into winter.
Amazing, amazing. When you guys sat down and envisioned your future, did you ever imagine you'd be signed by Sony? Here you are about to launch this tour and about to kick butt everywhere you go.
Oh, absolutely. We felt like we did all that we could independently, and we felt that to get to the level that we want to get to, we were going to need some label help, and you know, Sony was just the perfect fit.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, they understood the vision, and not once did they try to change us and who we are. They wanted us to be us, and that's all we wanted.
Super cool. Advice for some people out there, some young ones that are looking up to you boys. What do you want to say about that?
It depends on what you're doing, but I think one piece of advice that I can always say is stay true to yourself. You know, don't let any outside influence like tell you what you should be or who you should be or how you should walk, how you should dress, how you should talk, none of that. Like for me, I've always been able to express myself in a way like this, and it didn't matter what anybody said. I stayed true to myself. I knew my vision was pure, and all I could say to any Indigenous youth coming up after us or behind us, just stay true to you.
Amazing, wise words. Thank you so much. Back to you in the studio, and congratulations, boys.
Thank you.
Let's go. Red Future, baby.
Let's go.
Great stuff. I've got the album all queued up for my drive home. Can't wait to hear it. And I won't have to wait long, as that is all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Friday. For news anytime, though, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca. Special thanks to the crew. Knocked out 14 shows this week. Good for them. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy Miigwech, thanks for being with us. Stick around for Nouvelle Nationale. That's up next. Have a great night.